Welcome back to the Half Done Homestead. We have a problem here with this door. Doesn't move this anymore. Inside works, outside doesn't. So when I took it apart to tighten up the knob, I found this screw in there. Pretty sure that's a problem. So we're going to take this sucker off the door here, and we're going to figure out how to fix it. Granted, I don't do this stuff for a living, I'm just a homeowner, so bear with me. I'm probably going to do some stuff wrong. We're going to start by taking off the door latch here, the doorknob. I'm going to pry it forward. If you recall from a previous video, there's a little lever in here you got to push up to disconnect that. And I'll show you that real quick. This piece right here, twists that piece right there, that apparatus, which engages these tangs here into that. So see how it's open? The tang goes in there, and then when you close it, it holds it shut. So that's how you take the knob off. And there's a more detailed video on that on my page. You want to check that out? Next, we have to take off the door latch up top, the knob. We have to be able to get in there, so luckily we can just take this guy and get the door open. There we go. This is a 1/16 Allen key to get inside here. It's held on in there with a 1/16 Allen key. See it in there? So we'll back that out, and we should be able to take the deadbolt lock off. The knob anyways. If I could see it. There we go. In case you're wondering, this is not how I cut off my thumb. So there's that piece. Set that aside. Now we have to take off this piece down here. This is just a little cap, which I've taken off before. You don't want to mar the finish, so you're going to use a plastic scraper or a small screwdriver to get in there. And the door probably closed on us here while I'm doing this. So underneath here is a small little indentation for a screwdriver. So we're going to take our screwdriver and we're going to go underneath there. And when I want to mar the finish, it fits right in there. So we're going to go underneath with a towel. And we're just trying to pop this cap off. And that's all there is to it. And that's the little piece on the bottom that allows you to get your screwdriver in there to pop it loose. So set those three aside. This is the same way as that cap is. So we have to get underneath here and we have to pop this off too. Comes right off. Set that aside so we don't mess it up. So now we have 5 screws that have to come out. The screw for the bottom here that holds the bottom in, this which holds this latch in, and then this holds the top of the deadbolt piece in. So we'll start with the bottom. It's a very long screw because it goes all the way through the door and goes into that bottom piece to hold it together. I'll take out this guy. These do not have to come all the way out. Just enough that you can rotate the lock plate, which I didn't do enough. There we go. We're just going to rotate it. Pop that loose. See the keyways? They just go inside here and then just slip over. It's Pretty neat design. And we can take off the deadbolt. I think these have to come all the way out. We'll see. I'm holding everything together. Yeah, that has to come all the way out. Don't lose that piece, you need it. All right, that goes inside there, set that aside. So now in theory, the whole front thing should come off. Now where I found that screw was underneath this piece right here. It was actually up underneath that. I think that actually holds everything. I see how it moves. That I think holds that to the latch itself. So let's go ahead and take the whole thing off the door. It's probably not good. I may be going to Home Depot and buying a new one. I have no idea how this goes together. Now it's getting worse. Let me figure this out. Okay, remember I am not a locksmith, but I did figure out how to do this, okay? So I'm going to take it back apart. So there's two screws that hold this mechanism in, and these are the two screws that fell out. So the door's been on here probably 10 years. And that's what happened, right? So this piece sits inside and rides back and forth on the latch mechanism that comes in. This is your spring assist, if you will. And if you look at the doorknob, it has to go in with that half moon facing that way. And that's the only way, if you look at the door, that it can go in. So therefore, the door latch has the same type of mechanism on it with a spring. So we take that spring and we stick it inside like so, and the spring will ride on the back side of this guy right here like that. Okay, so this connects the outdoor mechanism to the internals, and this connects this piece to the door lock itself, the springy mechanism that goes back and forth on the door. And it goes on this side. You can see those indentations, like these, have to go there. This goes on first. This goes over the top of it to engage it, right? And then this piece goes over like so and hold it all together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a Loctite on my screws because I don't want them to come out again. I'm using blue 242. It's medium strength, so if you have to take it back off, you should be able to. So I take a rag and I put a little bit, make sure it's oozing out. I'm going to put a little bit inside the threads, and when I say a little bit, I mean just very, very, very little bit. So now I'm going to, again, engage the mechanism here, and I'm going to start the one screw. Sorry if my hands are in the way. And that's going to keep it from springing apart again. And then I'll take the blue Loctite. Let me show you. You can either put a little dab on the screw here. That's probably too much. So we'll soak a bunch of it off here. Very, very little bit. And then we'll take this guy and engage him here. Now I did put this in earlier just to make sure I had it together right. the hardest part is to get this black piece engaged through the door lock piece. Now I say keep calling it a door lock piece because I don't know what it's called. Make sure you put everything, this stuff away or it gets everywhere. All right, so that's how that goes back together. You don't have to pretend these have to be like tight. You don't have, probably, I don't know if you had a torque wrench, it's about 50 inch-pounds. You don't have to smoke them down to 12 foot-pounds, not necessary. So this does move a little bit. And that's the most difficult thing that I found to engage through here. So it has to come through this way. So I extended the bolts, these screws out, so I wasn't jamming up on those, and then I can get a pick or a screwdriver in there to move this around a little bit to engage it. So let's see if I can do it again. All right, so it's all back together. We're going to engage our 2 screws through this thing. And then we're going to work on getting the other piece engaged without scratching the crap out of the door. It does help to engage that guy. And you're looking for it to be flush on the outside here. Like so. All right. And then what we'll do is we'll put in our bottom screw to hold it so it doesn't fall out again. Maybe. And we're not smoking it down, we're just snugging it up so it won't move around while we're playing with it here. Next thing we're going to put in is our deadbolt. Now this thing fell out. Sit here. So you want the screw or the bolt keyway. It says Kwikset up top. Goes in this way with, you know, the half and wherever you can move this around. If you look at that half moon there, it's so that is half mooning to my left. So we're going to engage that first. Okay, so that's in. Now we're going to put on the rest of the deadbolt. Again, we're not going to tighten everything up yet. We're just snugging everything up to keep it so it from falling apart. So the next piece is this, and that has the same half moon shape on the end that the other piece has. So that has to meet. So the 2 bolts could obviously go in, and what we're mainly concerned about is to make sure that engages. All right, then we can start these guys. You don't need to lock thread these guys in. They shouldn't come loose. If you have a consistent problem with them coming loose, then sure you can do that. All right, so those are engaged. Now I'm going to use my screw gun and tighten them up a little bit, just to give them so they won't fall out. Okay, so it's not tight, they're just snug. Then we're going to engage the handle piece. Remember, you got the 2 keyways, goes over the keyways, and then locks in like so. And then we tighten these up. Again, we're not smoking everything down. I just want to show you that now that works again. So those 2 screws, when they fell out, one of them fell out. That's when I found when I took it apart to tighten the knob up. And then when I took it apart, obviously it sprung apart, and the other one had fallen out as well. So that's all back together now. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that out here, we're at the same lines on the door itself to make sure that we don't have any scratches and stuff everywhere. And now we're going to tighten everything up. Start with the deadbolt. Again, just not too much. You don't want to strip it out in the bottom, and then these two. Okay, now if you're not comfortable using a screw gun or an impact to do this, just take your screwdriver and get them on there. And I'm just making sure I like how tight they are. It's hard to judge sometimes if you don't use an impact gun a lot on how tight things are. All right, so that's all tight. The next thing to do is let's put our doorknob on. So this has to go the same half moon shape as the inside there. I'll get a flashlight for you. See that half moon shape there? So the door knob itself is going to go on the inside of that black piece that we put back together because it fell out on the door external latch. So it's going to go this way on the inside. Sometimes it helps to push the release to engage it. Okay, now remember, with this one we have that lever we have to push up or down in order to engage the keyways. And then we'll take this, and it just snaps on. That's it. We'll put our bottom cap on. Remember, we put the ugly piece to the bottom so you don't see it, or you got to pop it loose. It might be too tight. And then we're going to put our cover plate on. Now this is cammed, so you want to put it on there to where it fits. And that's typically that guy at the bottom. It is keywayed. Push it on, and then put on your deadbolt locking mechanism. Fixed. That is how you make a door work again. Here's all the tools I used. A 1/8, that's what it was. 1/16 Allen key, Phillips screwdriver, flat tip screwdriver, little pry stick, flashlights, and Loctite, and a gun. Thanks for watching. Check the description below for all the parts and stuff I used. I'll do my best to put a schematic of the door lock itself on in the description. You can click on to look at the internals on it if you need to order parts. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, help them out.